The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. As always, we come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So, what do we have going on today? Well, we're at the end of fun buying, and a couple things you want to take a look at. Of course, we had a big weekend, but could you get one more day of fun buying into the six? Well, it's the first three of 1 month and into another, and the way the month hit, it could be. So you could still have energy in, but I'm going to say that the energy is already been fairly overwhelming to the downside. We started to bounce. We've already done 4.2 billion shares on the NYSE consolidated, or not a NYSE, on the U.S. equities market volume summary from the CBOE. Man, almost went back 6 months. So normally we'd be doing something like, I don't know, 3.6 billion at this time. So fairly extensive to do another 600 million more shares. And of course, fund buying, some people call it window dressing. It's actually just all that 401k money coming in and other money. But there is a codicil in fund buying. It's not a contract, but for the most part, money managers and fund managers do the dance each month. But part of that is the fund manager knowing that to keep his buyers of his fund happy, he's got to every once in a while get rid of the dead wood, add maybe to what is working, and to what has stalled, it's time to go ahead and get out. Or if you think it's wildly overvalued, that's kind of it. And to some extent, I suspect that's what we're seeing here. The reason the NASDAQ's off 88 and the S&P is just off 10 and the Dow is at, what, just a little over flat, Russell's down 7, is that we're going to see this sector rotation. September has some fairly big dips in it historically, and it's not uncommon. But one of the reasons is it is sector rotation. Generally, what these guys will do is sell the stocks that they want to sell, i.e., probably the ones that weren't doing well already, and further depress the price of those stocks already. And then you get kind of into, I don't know, last week, maybe last couple of days of September, and that's where fund buying actually kind of turns around. You get into the 1st of October, and you get the fall rally starting. But, you know, there's a lot of stock around for sale and stocks that haven't either moved or has gone lower. And we're probably going to see some fairly decent pullbacks into, I would say, at least options expiration. It's looking rather bleak and has since last week. I've already got my subscribers short in the daily newsletter. In the long-term newsletter, I've got something I want to hold, and I'm going to do everything, including sit on my hands to make sure that I don't lose it over the next 2 or 3 weeks. It's always an opportunity to see something that you wanted to hold because you think the long-term is so good on it. The short-term for me, we're just going to be pulling back. Support probably comes in around 2660 to 2665 on the S&P cash. And that's where we're probably going to get some kind of notice of how weak this sector rotation is going to be. And that's basically just looking at options and the way that the market moved and the fact that every time we go higher, it's on fairly light volume. When we pull back, is it really massive volume? No. Is it a little more than the up moves? Yes. But it's very consistent now. It wasn't uncommon to see, one huge day down, all the volume came in and the move was over. This one seems like we're going to, at least for the last few days, and since Wednesday, looks like everybody's kind of planning for lower prices. Nobody stepped in the option market makers, not through all of last week, to bring a prediction that's fairly low and I'd say almost unbelievable for a lot of market participants. So I'm thinking we get a little breather here in the market. Is it the end of the bull market? Can't say anything so far. Is it much more likely the pause before we get some kind of big rally into the fall? I think so. Politics could fit into this. I'm already starting to see the same kind of hack reporting on polls. If you dig into the polls and actually figure out what they were, things aren't quite what the I'm going to call them the reporter hack class. A bunch of people wanting to spin the news the way that they think it will be, pushed. And then, of course, the reality right after the election when people don't get exactly what they want. They can blame Russians, but for a great deal, it was just people who were reporting the news were reporting it the way that they thought it should turn out. It's kind of, they get into this kind of horse race idea, and it's good for ratings. That's why they do it. But is it real reporting, or is it just trying to whip up the masses so that they can make a little bit more money? It's mostly the latter. So don't pay a lot of attention to those. If you read any polls, make sure you dig into them. Don't think that by looking at them, if you're trying to make any decisions in the market, that they're anywhere close to the truth. They may be wildly off, but one thing's for sure, the people that are doing the polls don't know which way they're wildly off. It can be either way. So I'm just going to say, take a deep breath, do some ums, some what is that? Chanting. A little bit of chanting would happen. So that's it. But, just don't get too excited. I'm thinking we're probably going to see that pull back, a little bit of it on politics. And then we're probably going to get some real answers and some polls that actually mean something. Those will be kind of around the 1st of October. We've got all the way, what is it, November 8th or whatever? November 3rd, something like that for the elections. After that, I think we've got another, probably year and a half of clear sailing. I don't think anybody wants this party to end, and it will be tough to see a lot of people jump in front of a freight train as long as the economy is doing well. Yogi? Don't know Yogi. What is it when everybody does what is that? They all sit around and do their ums. Yeah, don't know. Give me a call, 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And of course, we always like to start the show off with a little bit of history.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1975 in Sacramento, California, an assassination attempt against President Gerald Ford is foiled when a Secret Service agent wrestles a semi-automatic .45 caliber pistol, actually in 1911. And she is Lynette Squeaky Frome, but my guess is she wasn't going to hit the president with it. I think she weighed all of 100 pounds. You got to be kind of bulky and some pretty good wrist strength to handle in 1911. She was a follower of the incarcerated cult leader Charles Manson, and of course Frome was pointing the loaded gun at the president when a Secret Service agent grabbed it. 17 days later, another nitwit tried to kill off the president. That was Sarah Jane Moore. You can never know when these kind of things are going to come out of the blue and affect not only politics, but the market. And of course, Squeaky Frome, she wasn't very smart. She decided to escape, lasted all of 2 days, ended up doing, 37 years, got out in 2009. And I think she's finally wised up to the fact that, you know what, probably not going to be good to be doing anything else stupid the rest of her life unless she wants to spend another 37 years in jail. On this day in 1975. You never know when Archduke Ferdinand or something like that will come out of the blue that changes everything in a New York second. I want to get into what else do we have here? Get into some stuff that I've been looking at in the charts. But of course, on the news or on the snooze today, it's wall to wall. Twitter, Facebook, and Google talk. We've seen that these guys are kind of grandstanding for the public, but Twitter and all these other guys, they have some fairly big problems, and that is that they've had their hands caught in the cookie jar too many times. But you know what? I think if I was talking to a CEO, I'd say, you know what? Go a little less to this big congressional hearing looking like somebody out of Deliverance. Not a good look for showing up. All he's missing is he miss a few more teeth and a banjo. He'd fit right in with that look. I don't understand the whole thing either, the whole hipster movement, but that's kind of it. We're going to go to Ari. How you doing, Ari?
Pretty good. I got a question, philosophy about Intel.
Uh-huh.
CNBC has really been blessing Intel on many directions. Like they had the CEO of NVIDIA on twice telling how his chips are so superior because they could do multi-processing in a much larger scale.
Yeah.
And they had AMD on twice telling how the new chips are so much advanced than Intel. And Kramer comes on a couple times saying that, if you're going to buy a chip for the cloud, if you're going to buy a server for the cloud, you're going to use chips from AMD.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry I had to laugh, but go ahead.
Yeah. And you could correct me. He said that Intel is sitting on a 10 nanomils and AMD's on 7. I find it hard to believe that AMD would be lower down than Intel.
Well, that is the truth. But what are we interested in the stock market? And that is how much money the companies make. One of the problems is as you drop the size of the die, your yield, or the amount of ones that come out the end of the factory that work, is always lower. Right? So what Intel figured out a couple of years ago was that, yes, they could build them and no, they weren't going to make as much money. They were better off actually staying at the higher level until they could figure out a way to get the yields higher. And lo and behold, I've heard that for the last year and a half from Intel. And last week, I'll talk about it on Friday's show with Tom O'Brien. But last week, all these articles coming out of Taiwan and Taiwan Semiconductor, the fab that builds most of the chips for most of these folks, most of them are pulling their orders for these low die size chips because they're not making any money. The yields are crap. So the question is, if you can build one of these, you spend 2 months Intel does, putting a processor in and starting, it's 2 months before it comes out the other end of the building. What happens after you spent 2 months and the thing don't work? And that's the problem that everybody's having, or not everybody, but some people are having. And the question is, how is that going to hit AMD and others' profit line? Because they end up paying for it. So either in reduced chip prices or higher costs to people like Taiwan Semiconductor that actually build their chips. Because AMD doesn't really build their own chips. They farm it off to global foundries or Taiwan Semiconductor to actually build them, right? So, right now, 98% of all server chips are from Intel. So let's say that AMD gets 0.5% more. It's still 97.5% of all server chips are Intel. And there's a lot of reasons for it, but these guys have to make sure that they're available 99.99% of the time. And you can do an AMD chip, but Intel has a lot of the patents that really make the ones that people like Google and Amazon and Microsoft are going to buy. So Intel's big problem right now is that, as you said, everybody wants to dump on them. It's nothing that you couldn't solve by firing everybody that sits on the board of Intel. They decided to go down the road of political correctness, and they're paying the price. They can't get a new CEO in. They didn't get a new one when I was gone last week, did they?
No.
No, I don't think so. No one wants to come in because they know these guys are bat crap crazy in the board, and you need to fire a bunch of people off the board. Intel could be back in gear fairly quickly, but they started building 8-nanometer stuff in a single factory like 2.5 years ago. So it's not that they can't, it's that they decided that it doesn't make them any money. And that's it. You want to hang on? We'll talk more about this, because I think it's an interesting conversation that morons like Kramer and other people just wanting to beat the price of Intel down aren't having. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance, David White's daily market letter, gives you trade recommendations based on David's proprietary power law vector indicator that put the odds of success overwhelmingly in your favor. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price for each stock and option trade. David combines his years of trading experience along with his background in technology and computing to offer his subscribers his take on the markets on a daily basis. Every trading day by 9:30, David publishes his morning issue of The Path of Least Resistance, along with updates sent out throughout the week whenever there is new actionable trading information. All new subscribers receive a 30-day, no questions asked, money-back guarantee. To sign up for David White's daily trading newsletter right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Direction's daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. Ari, are you still on the line?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
You know,
So-
it's interesting. Kramer went so far to say when Amazon wants a server, when Google wants a server, when Microsoft wants a server, they're buying AMD. That's what he said, and I just couldn't believe it.
Are they buying some? Yeah, but it's a fairly minor part of the business. So, I just, Kramer. What else can you say about him?
Well, in my opinion, he could drive a stock from $15 to $30 without much trouble.
Oh, there's one out here today that's getting hammered. That one he did. So I'm not saying he can't move markets. In fact, it's CCR. He ran this thing up to 100 and or is it CRR. He ran this thing up to 150 or 160 bucks a few years ago. When everybody knew, well, let's go back a few. Is it more than that? Oh, let's go back here. Okay, $154.71 on July 1st, 2014. So we're a little about 4 years down the line, but that high was courtesy of the evil one, if I can call him that.
Bring me the head of the false prophet, Jim Cramer.
I always love that sound clip from The Daily Show. I think it was The Daily Show. But now I don't know what else you can say, but he's pretty good at it. My guess is, or I've always had a theory that Kramer, since he can't directly invest in those companies himself, does it for his buddies. And, maybe someone calls up and goes, hey, I want to sell some AMD, so I need you to get on there and tell everybody how great AMD is, and we'll sell in to the dumb money that comes in after the, smart money that drives this thing up. So is AMD a lot better off than it was 2 years ago when I thought that they were 5 minutes away from going bankrupt and there was little to see out here? They were. You couldn't really figure out that they were going to make money from Bitcoin mining. But NVIDIA's stuff just blows them out of the water now. And their chips aren't really that great. They're much better than they were. So that they still compete on price, though. They don't compete on being the best. So if you're not the best in electronics, as long as your price is affordable, which I think Intel is, I'm still a fan. I wouldn't be buying an AMD chip if I was building a server today. But that's it. But yeah, I was looking for this article that I saw last week, and I know I saved it, but it was all about maybe 4 or 5, maybe even 6 or 7 companies that had all stopped production of the smaller die size for their chips because it was running them broke. So I wouldn't be surprised to see in the next earnings announcement that some of these companies have made a lot less money or maybe even lost money on going to die sizes that can't be made at a reasonable yield. So
now is Intel using 8 nanometers now?
No.
Or they're still 10?
I think they're actually at 12. Again,
okay.
It doesn't make you any good to go to 8 if you can't build 8 and make money. And that is the problem.
I agree with you.
That is the problem, and I think a lot of people are not doing it. The question I would ask is AMD, and of course you're not going to get anybody to answer the question, is what is your yield on these new chips? And, they may be selling some of this stuff, but the question is how much money are they going to be making on it? And again, when you look at Intel, their yield's about 96%. So about 4 out of 100 chips get to the end of the line for what I call either desktop or server chips get to the end of the line and don't work. Now, some of those actually just don't work at higher speeds. So they put a different number on them so that they work at lower speeds than they were built to actually do. And they'll sell those off. So they still make some money on some of those. About 2% of chips never actually ever work for a variety of reasons. A little mote of dust gets into them, or the chemicals procedures off slightly. But Intel's got the best procedures in the world. What they don't have now is a good CEO, and it's very easy to take pot shots on them. And it's fine for me. I would love for them to beat the price down even further. And when they get a new CEO, hopefully he's strong enough CEO to get rid of the morons on the board. And I think you could see, you know, 60, 70 bucks on Intel with the right CEO.
What about this NVIDIA chip that's supposed to do like tremendous amount of multiprocessing? I mean, the CEO basically implied that you could take a few of his chip and replace the whole server room. I'm serious. That's what he basically said.
And he's wrong. What NVIDIA is doing is using their GPUs, which are chips that can do a lot of lower level math in parallel. The problem is that you can't run a desktop computer on something like that. It just doesn't work. It's actually,
and then you can't even run, then you surely can't run a server on it.
No, it doesn't make a lot of sense. You can do some parallelization, which actually is something I've been working on for about a year on some of the stuff that I've been working on just to make it a little faster. I don't spend a lot of time on it, but no, I think that there's a lot of just a lot of hyperbole around that. I think the NVIDIA guy, after they came out with earnings and everybody started screaming at them because the earnings pop didn't go so well, everybody was, oh, it's the end of NVIDIA. But of course, everybody was shorting the living daylights out of NVIDIA, and you've had pretty much a short squeeze since it hit 240. I'm not saying that I would ever short NVIDIA. It's got too high of a short interest, and it's almost, with their video cards, almost a monopoly. They are so much better now than AMD that it's ridiculous. And again, in a monopoly position like Apple or Google or Amazon, once you really reached a monopoly thing, it's hard to tell how high you can go. But the new NVIDIA cards are great. I think AMD is going to have a real problem in less than, well, maybe a year selling anything, because it just doesn't do ray tracing like the NVIDIA. So I do like NVIDIA. I wouldn't be short the thing. I think AMD has a lot of issues out there, but my guess is Kramer is the one who's probably spending a lot of time helping his buddies get out of AMD, which has been a dog 10 years or so, whatever. And now it's kind of come back, fatten it up himself.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get 'em, folks.
Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus, developed by John Logan and his team, is a standalone piece of software that can change the way you trade. Let the TAS Profile Scanner work for you by scanning over 5,000 financial instruments such as stocks, ETFs, commodities, futures, and Forex. Right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner Plus right at TFNN.com. And when you sign up, you gain instant access to John Logan's most recent webinar, How Price, Volume, and Time Make Market Profiles So Unique. This hour-long webinar with John Logan will walk you through the most powerful features of the scanner and how you can use it to become a more successful and profitable trader. You pay absolutely nothing for 30 days while you try out this software risk-free. For more information on the TAS Profile Scanner and to get your 30-day free trial today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And we're back. We're going to look at some charts here that are at highs, and we'll see what's going on. But if you missed the opening of the show, still suspect that this is kind of the high water mark through expiration. And we're going to have a lot of sector rotation. And as soon as everybody sells what they want, then they're going to buy what they think they need for the fall. So generally, it's not impossible to see kind of a fairly decent pullback in September that sets up a rally all the way into the end of the year. And I'm kind of thinking that's what happens. A lot of stocks have some fairly light volume at highs. And of course, if we look through yesterday, Zoomies is one, ZUMZ, $31.55 on June 8th. Got through that yesterday with 661,000 shares. Did the reversal of that today. So you've got a high with much lighter volume. I think there's better low-hanging fruit out there, but again, we're just going to go through a lot of these stocks that not only broke previous highs, but have done it on fairly significantly lighter volume. Xilinx, the programmable chip company, continues to kind of move a little higher. A lot of discussion on whether or not someone will buy them out, like Intel bought Altera. But certainly that one is a little better looking than the rest. WGO, which is Winnebago, looking for this thing on the possibility that it's going to bottom out at around 34 bucks. That's the April 16th low that had 800,000 shares. And of course, if we look at today, we've got about 300,000 shares. This one actually does look like it could find a low, and that may be more about prices of crude in the near future than anything else. WFT, which is Weatherford International. This is a little $2 stock, but it's getting close. It hasn't quite gone out and tested the previous low, but was watching that one today, April 4th. You had $2.07 with 24 million shares. So far, about 16 or 17 million shares. So that could come in light. I had a question about Snap, and it looked like Snap was going to make a low and possibly have some kind of level buy. May 17th, you got into the $10.15 range with 27 million shares. Yesterday, though, you came in with about 26 million shares. I do like the way it came back on lighter volume off the 1447 high, but you got too much energy the last couple of days out here. What you want is either for this to wash everybody out at about 10 bucks. You know what? The best thing that could happen for this one is just go sideways for 4 or 5 days. But, you know, maybe we get a little bounce after the hearings today for Google and the rest of the social guys. That's it. What else do we have? TSS. We're going to take a look at that. Total Systems, TSS. Keeping an eye on this right at 100 bucks. You had a spike up there on the 25th of July with 2.4 million shares. You're getting in there, but that one looks a little weak, so you got a possibility of that. And by the way, this is all the stuff I'm kind of keeping an eye on if the market does turn south. I have a feeling that if we can't hold above 28.90 today on the S&P cash, that's a fairly big signal in the throes of fund buying. Okay, let's take a look at a little bit better. We looked at Snap already. The SMH has kind of looked rather complex up here, which is probably the best way to describe them. But you continue to make lower highs. You had 114.55 on March 13th. You had 112 on June 7th. Got to 109.86, and this looks like this could continue this downtrend for the upside. And you also have kind of a similar thing on the trend line for the up leg. So you have a fairly decent triangle pattern developing in the semiconductors. And of course, you'll know that I'm all fans of waiting for this thing to break out and taking the opposite side of it a few days later. Because normally 80% of the time, the first move out of these will be a head fake. It'll be to the wrong side of these triangle patterns. And that's certainly what we have. Lower highs and higher lows. And nothing to really read on that just now. Schlumberger, we're looking at some of these oil stocks still being fairly weak. 59.52 is the November 16th low of last year, and we're kind of getting into that one. Was hoping that the volume was going to be a little lighter today. You got 7 million shares, which is about the same volume you had on April 2nd at 61.52. But what you really are looking for is this $59.52 November 16th low, and that had 7.8 million shares. So a lot of these things look like they could be developing bottoms, but I'm not expecting any big whoops from these guys over the next few days. They're just, especially today, a lot of these stocks are coming in with fairly light volume. Stocks that look like they may have topped out. PayPal looks like it's got a fairly decent pullback today. We'll watch the close for the total volume today, but it really never has had the kind of blowout volume that you're looking for, which is about 15 million shares going back to the January 31st high. That's 86.32. You actually had 14.9 million shares on the way down on July 27th. Now it kind of has come back up here, but you've never really seen that volume again. Now you've got the little plunge back off of that. I hate to short stocks that are in the $90 range. I would probably rather see this thing base out in the mid 80s and come into September. Maybe this one would be ready for its run to 100. PTC, another one that's making a little triple high here with a fairly decent signal that this is kind of done at the top. You wanted about 2.25 million shares from the June 20th high. That was $100.79. You retested it, but didn't pierce it on July 13th. But volume was low, it was 840,000 shares. But again, yesterday you got back into that high. You went above it, you closed below it, and you did so on less than half the volume, just 827,000 shares compared to the 2.2 million shares back on June 20th. So a fairly decent, good topping pattern. Your target would be back down to about $89 to $90 where support is, and that is that gap higher. Back from June 11th, this gapped up. So a lot of trading ranges up here. But this maybe you got it today. Look at about 9 minutes. We'll be back in a minute.
No matter what kind of trader you are, 2018 is a great time to try out a subscription to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report. Whether you just plan on diversifying your portfolio with some exposure to gold and gold mining equities, or you're a gold bull that sees 2018 as the year of commodities, now is a great time to sign up for the Gold Report. Tom O'Brien publishes his Gold Report every Monday morning before the market opens and covers a variety of topics including gold, silver, platinum, copper, the XAU and HUI, the dollar, bonds, South African rand, as well as more than 20 of the most actively traded mining equities. Start your 2018 off with a bang and sign up for the Gold Report today. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. For all the details and to start your subscription right now, visit the front page of TFNN.com and you'll find the Gold Report under Investment Newsletters. David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools, as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're going to look at a few more chips, but we're going to look at a few more stocks here to wrap the day up. Make sure and get your emails in before or right around the start of the show tomorrow, or plan to give me a call. Always makes the day a little bit better going on. As someone asked me about this article I was talking about, and it's from a newspaper in Taiwan, and it's not kind of the mainstream stuff you see. But a pretty good indication. They asked me if I could just read it quickly. And here's the article. It says, it's starting to look a lot like fabulous chip makers are putting the brakes on sub-10 nanometer chip production. They're reporting how sub-10 nanometer node manufacturing requires huge capex. Several foundries have slowed down their investment pace, while fabulous chip makers stick with 14 and 12 nanometer products for cost reasons. Part of this issue is the cost of developing 10 nanometer chips. It's prohibitively high. The other problem is that the yields are poor. Global Foundries said it's reshaping its technology portfolio to intensify its focus on delivering differentiated offerings for its clients in high growth markets. Global Foundries used to be a public company. I don't know if you remember that. It's one of those companies that was taken private. It's been private for a fairly long time. My guess is it eventually will be a public company again once they solve all the issues that it had being private. Still gets a lot of business, but of course, since they're private, you don't know a lot about it. The other big competitor in that market is Taiwan Semiconductor. And I'm going to say that they're 3 or 4 times bigger than Global Foundries, just because even Samsung and a lot of the other big manufacturers send stuff to them. But anyway, TSMC is Taiwan Semiconductor. Check that out. We'll talk about it tomorrow. In the meantime, sell when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel. Same channel.
TFNN has put together the finest programming lineup each trading day, featuring some of the most knowledgeable and respected financial minds in the nation to educate traders and investors. On Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, we broadcast 8 hours a day, starting at 9 a.m. as Larry Pesavento kicks us off with Trade What You See. Tuesdays and Thursdays, we broadcast 11 hours. Get an early and healthy start to your day as Nico and Paige bring you Living a Primal Lifestyle. Then catch Andy Hecht at 5 p.m. with the Commodities Hour, following the Tom O'Brien Show. Swim lessons from TD Ameritrade Thinkorswim is now at 11 a.m., followed by Basil Chapman at 12 noon. See the TFNN program lineup via the link on the front page of TFNN.com to get a complete overview of our TFNN shows and hosts. And keep TFNN's Tiger TV tuned in on your mobile device, PC, or Mac for the latest financial news and information throughout the broadcasting day. TFNN.com, educating investors.